Hi friends, Christine here, and today we are going to make some, this is so exciting, I love this, some tintypes. You can see I've made a whole collection of them. Some of my favorites are in here, like I love this woman and her brother-in-law with whom she had a torrid affair is in the back of the book as well. So this is part of a kit, accessory kit essentially, that I made, and these are just photographs for this purpose. This is a different kit, but I wanted to show you my favorites because, you know, I have to. So what do you need to make these? And you're going to make a gazillion of them, so I hope you drink soda or know somebody who does, or beer, whatever. So in this case, we need a tin can. And if you need to see how to cut a tin can open and make it flat like this, the video I did on embossing tin, there's a clip in there about how I cut them out and flatten them, and then you'll see that and you can go from there. So we have now our tin can, and the first thing I like to do is rough it up a little bit. So this is like 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going lightly in a few directions, just to give it some tooth. Nothing too wild. That's plenty. You can see now it's a little duller. Okay, so now my favorite colors to make tintypes, I've learned in the past week, is the blue. Because of that, I have absolutely killed my blue pen, my blue alcohol marker. So we have to use other colors. And in this case, we're going to use this brown, or maybe this brown. This is a cooler brown. We'll use this one because I want to warm up the tin. Somewhere I do have one where I didn't warm it up, and I didn't like it. The tin was just too tinny. So all we do is rub it with color, go in a couple directions, and then sometimes it'll do its own little alcohol marker thing and congeal a little. And sometimes it won't. And for times like this, when it won't, I have a little alcohol in this mini sprayer. I'm going to give it a good spray, and then I'm going to dilute it. So now you can see it's just barely gold, but it is gold. And now we need the next part, which is the image. And we're going to use this fellow. And he is printed on label, clear label stock. This is what I'm using, and it's wonderful. I bought it online, and you can too. So I'm not even going to trim him fully. Just going to put him on, and then I'll trim him later. Now we can watch Christine try and get the label undone. Unfortunately, with this label sheet, there's only one crease in it right down the middle. So if you can't find an edge, all right, where's the knife? Where is my little knife? Okay, it's because the camera is on. If the camera wasn't on, I would, seriously, I don't have these issues. There we go. It started that way. And pull it off. And you can see just how beautiful he is. Find your spot of colored tin and put it down. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so now we can protect him and give him a little burnish. And go from the other side. And there he is. So now I'm going to trim this, and I do that on the paper cutter, so hold on. Here he is, beautiful and tinny, but not silvery tinny. He's goldish. And we're going to distress him a little further. So the first thing I like to do is distress the edges, especially the corners. In fact, we can kind of clip the corners. They might not be so straight. You know what I say about time? I'm not saying it again. If you don't know, you'll have to watch another video. I say it in almost every one. Okay, so now we're going to see that beautiful edge, like it's worn away. Let's get this other side. And don't overdo it, just enough to make it feel like it had been engaged with during its lifetime. That it was held and dropped and scraped, and this is really light, so I can do more there. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to give this guy another on the edge of the table just to help him flatten. Okay, now we want a little Distress Oxide. Gathered twigs will do in our case. We're just going to hit the edges. I don't think I've ever used this as an actual stamp, but that's just me. So here we go. We can get a little bit there and then smear it a little bit. Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so you see how easy this is. That's all there is to it. I just noticed that that is a little sharp. Cut that off and sand it a little bit. And now it's even more lovely and more loved. So another thing you can do that I'll show you on this one, if you're using a blue tint, which I highly recommend, I love the blues, you can use something like speckled eggs and do the same thing. You can see around the female here. Let's get them in focus. There we go. So you could just see the shimmer that you get on these, on all of them. It's just spectacular. I mean, it really is like having an actual daguerreotype. But there it was, a few minutes, you're done. Hi kids, I'm back. I realized that the camera wasn't rolling when I talked about finishing the back of these. So if you're putting them in an album or something like this, where the back doesn't even show, you don't have to worry about it at all. But if you're putting them in something like this, somewhere else in your journal, in a pocket or something, it's going to come out, and you really don't want it to come out when you see it. So spray the back with some flat gray primer. You could probably use a black primer too, but the gray I thought looked the best. Stick him back in here where he belongs. Oh, look at his little face. Anyway, that was all. I just realized that it wasn't recording, and I think you should know that. So you have a complete finished tintype that you can love and enjoy and share. Go create, be awesome.